Greetings, 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 greetings. What the deal is, what go on? My brothers and sisters, lineage, my Niji, let's talk. All right, I'm not going to be on here too long because you know me. When I get started, I get started, right? But I'm going to make an attempt to limit this video. I just want to say what's on my mind. And once I'm done, I'm going to end the live, all right? So, with that being said, I want to give thanks and acknowledgement to our ancestors. For me, I'm always honoring and glorifying the righteous ones and the unrighteous ones. I acknowledge them as well. I definitely thank them for playing their part in this reality of duality. You dig? All right, now I'm talking about drones. I'm talking about Trump. I'm talking about Jay-Z. I'm talking about Diddy. Right? As you could see, I summed up everything in one video, so I'm just going to say what I got to say. With that being said, I've been on this journey for a very, very, very long time, right? And when you know what life is, when you know truth, it's like everything else really is just a conversation. Everything else is just a debate. Everything else is just a distraction, if I may. Okay? If it's not one thing, it's the next. You see, even people that are so-called awakened, so-called conscious people, even they themselves are not awakened as much as they think they are, because the system is giving you all these devices. The system is giving you all these vices, right, to distract you, and then you fall for it. You see what I'm saying? But yet still you woke. And it's contradictory in your actions, because whatever the system is giving us, you know what I'm saying, you are just focusing on that, and it becomes a major distraction for you. Now some may say, well, hey chief, you're talking about it, are you distracted as well? No, I'm not distracted. You see, it's a difference between doing a bunch of videos and posts about all these distractions opposed to a message. You feel me? And what I think we need to be focusing on is focusing on the things that we really need to spend time thinking about. Okay. Now we went. If you realize, right, in all the videos that you see people doing right now, then I told you exactly what was going to happen. There was a time when the government said, "Listen, smoking weed, it's illegal. How many of our brothers and sisters in jail for smoking weed? They got caught with a roach in the car or wherever, and they doing like 5 to 10 or even more, just because that's the way the system is set up, right? And then everybody, the system said, okay, you know what? Now we got control. We have the monopoly over the whole weed game. We are gonna give you guys the privilege and make it legal. So now everybody's smoking. Everybody's in a video because the slave master said it's okay to smoke. All right. So everybody's in the video puffing and smoking. Or let me just pull this weed here, and it's like a badge of honor that the system allowed you to smoke something that's natural, that came from the earth. Now I don't condone it because I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do none of that nonsense. You feel me? Because I don't need weed to get high. I don't need weed to open up my third eye. All right. Those are just substances that could be controlled or get out of control. You feel me? So I don't do that. If you do that, that's you. I'm not here to judge you. Do what you got to do. The kingdom of heaven is within you. And if you want to smoke out the God that's in you, the I am that's in you, and make space for all these different ghostly energies, and not just ghostly ones, but sometimes demons, then you do that. It's up to you. Do you. You feel me? But the moral of the story is the government. You see what I'm saying? God, government, governmental ordinances department. That's why it says on the dollar bill, in God we trust. Okay, most people don't know exactly what that means, but you are being controlled, or and you are nothing but a robot. They give you, they literally just put in the plug, and then you take it and run with it instead of focusing on what we need to focus on. We are not focusing on what we need to focus on, which is our sovereignty, freedom, life, liberty, justice, happiness, abundance. That's what we need to be focusing on. How come these conversations don't go viral? Hmm? How come these talks don't go viral? But it's always the BS that's going viral. And it just goes to show that regardless of how you say you're woke or you're conscious or you this or you that, your actions speak louder than words. It is really that simple. So the weed thing, when it got so-called legalized, all right, which it was never unlawful, it was just illegal. And there's a difference between lawful and legal. They made it illegal, but it wasn't unlawful because why? It came from the earth. It was in nature. So it's lawful in nature. But man decided, no, we're going to make it illegal in our legal system. And we're going to jail your people, anybody we choose to jail if we say, hey, all right, you had a little too much on you. But nah, they could monopolize it, capitalize it, and make billions of dollars while a lot of our people are still rotting in jail. All right. So that was a wave of sequences with the weed smoking in every video. All right. That kind of died out a little bit. I told you it was going to die out. And guess what? It died out because you don't see people doing it too much. I knew it was a phase. I knew it was a phase. And then boom, here comes Diddy. Every video is about Diddy. Then here comes Jamie Foxx. Every video is about Jamie. Whether Jamie is real or it's a clone, who gives a damn? Then Jay-Z. Oh, well, Jay-Z's sleeping with this. And Jay-Z. Listen, man. All these things are distracted. Then we have the Democrats and we have the Republicans, two, the left wing, the right wing, but same bird. They all have the same agenda. Yes, it is all symbolic in a sense because, like I broke it down, the trumpet sounded. Yes, all we know what all that means because I broke it down for y'all, right? But people who don't get the true meaning of what the metaphysical meaning of all of it is, you are still going to be a slave, man. You are still going to be a slave. My brothers and sisters, we should not be paying bills. We should not be paying rent. We should not be buying food. We should not be buying water. That's what needs to be going viral. But you see, people are looking for a revolution opposed to an involution. How are you going to have a revolution without an involution? And a revolution is to do the same thing over and over again. You see, most people don't get the meaning of words that they speak because you have the prefix re in front of the word of volution. So you have re, the prefix, and you have volution. Now, if you go through a revolving door, what happens? When you go through the door, it's revolving. If you don't make your exit, you're going to come right back in the same position that you first started in. And that's what people are doing in revolutions. They are going back to the same old thing, doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. It's called insanity. That's the definition of revolution. But when you do an involution, it's a different situation because now you're going within self and you are analyzing things that just don't make sense. And even most people are going through a process of involution. They are not stepping out. So they start lashing out. They start drinking, smoking, abusing their spouses, debates, competition, because there's no outlet, right? So you have to come on the internet, and that's your way of, making yourself relevant with the distraction, right? Now, it says that, based on scientific evidence, and of course, to me, I don't know how quite obvious it is, but we are supposedly the most intelligent beings, right? In terms of comparing us to animals, right? But it's ironic to me that when you go into nature, I don't see animals buying food. I don't see animals paying rent. I don't see none of that. Okay? I see animals stick to their own community. They practice group economics. Okay? They practice group economics. I don't see ants. And when ants move, they move in unison. They move as a unit. I don't see ants trying to go to bees and say, listen, man, let's do something together. But yet still, they live in nature harmoniously, right? You may have one or two incidents with different animals that, they get out of character. That's expected because that's the type of world that we live in. It's a savage world, right? When geese fly, I see geese fly together. They don't go and holler at pigeons and say, "Brrr, brrr, let's fly together." They don't. Now, I'm not saying we should not integrate with other people. That's not what I'm saying. But we should be a collective, okay, doing what we're doing if we so choose with other ethnic groups. If we so choose. But if we choose not to interact with other ethnic groups or integrate with other ethnic groups to infiltrate our communities, then we have a right to do that. Because you see, the Jews do it, Italians do it, the Irish do it, the Mexicans do it, every other ethnic group do it. But when we do it, we get criticized for it and then we feel guilty. So now we're letting everybody usurp our energy, usurp our currency. For the most part, every other ethnic group, the currency that they have, aka money, because money is a form of currency, right? That's why it's called currency. Their money literally goes through their communities at least 4 times, minimum. Well, the Jews is about 12 to 15 times. Okay? But when it comes to us, as soon as we get it, it goes out into another ethnic community and it never comes back into our community. All right? I've been doing videos talking about these things, such as what I'm talking about now. All right? For over 15 years. I'm going back now talking about beauty salons. I used to do videos and go into beauty salons and record and ask my sisters, why are you in a Chinese restaurant getting your nails, in not a Chinese restaurant, but a Chinese nail salon getting your nails done, or get, all these weaves? And if you're going to wear them, why not be economical and get behind the business and promote it to your own people and control the market? You don't need all the false nails, but if you're going to do that, then monopolize it. But I always hear, well, Chief, we don't support each other. And, I can't stand women. But don't you go to the Chinese woman and get it done? So the problem is not with Chinese people. The problem is with you. Because you were taught that any woman who look like you, you're not supposed to get along with them. Okay? You're supposed to hate them. That's what was being taught. It's always being taught. All right? But we see other communities, and I'm not talking about, the ratchetness in other ethnic groups. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about on a whole, right? On a grander scale. Those women, they get along. They get along. You feel me? We are the ones it's being promoted to that our women should not get together. All women should not work together. When the truth of the matter is, our women were the glue to the household. Our women were the glue to the communities. Our women were the glue to the village. In fact, it was the original American woman that gave the world civilization that was taken all over the world. Be it as it may, you don't get the credit because, our story, our history, it was stolen. It was hidden. Okay? A lot of misinformation, we're getting that. And you know what? A lot of people are getting back into who we are. And that's a beautiful thing, right? But at some point, we got to start looking and be like, okay, you know what? Every time we start, and the funny thing is, I don't know if it's funny, but I'm going to use the word funny. The funny thing is funny in a sense, but it's not laughable to me, but it's funny. But the funny thing is this. Every time we so-called black people in the Americas, particularly the United States. There's an attempt for us to unite. There's a shift in the consciousness of the people. There's always more distractions than anything else. It's one thing after the other, one thing bombarding us with distractions so we cannot get focused. And people don't realize why it's being done. It is strategic. It is already planned out. The prophecies that you see, it's all man-made. It's all man-made. Because who is God? God is man and man is God. Whether you are a righteous God or an unrighteous God, it still doesn't change the fact that you are a God. Period, point blank. And nobody could prove otherwise. Factually, let me add that. Because you cannot just get one book and say this is what it is. Now, who wrote the damn book? And you know what I'm talking about. So we don't have to get into that. And that's why I give y'all Genesis to Reevaluation. Get the book. Read. It's fun for the mental. So what? There's Jones in the skies. If you say you're a God, what are you afraid of? Huh? If you say you're a God, and we were made in the likeness and image of God, and we were given dominion over all of this, why are we slaves here? Why are we being controlled here? Why don't we have our sovereignty? Why do we have foreigners in our land controlling every move we make? Why can't we come together and stand up and say all of our people that's in jail, we want them free right now? Let's go through these books. Okay, now if somebody did some heinous crime or somebody, raped a baby or raped, something of that sort. Yes, you did the crime, you're going to do the time. And I still think prison should be for reform. Okay, prison should be for reform and not for profit. I'm going to repeat that. Prison should be for reform and not for profit. But these jails are for profit. And we have the biggest criminals are the ones running the jail because wherever they came from in Europe, they were criminals. You cannot be a bigger criminal than the people who came here onto our land. Because why? They came from being criminals. They are the master of being criminals. Y'all think y'all gangster? Y'all ain't gangster. You're playing gangster. You're playing thug. But you're not a thug. You're only a thug for your own people. You're only a gangster for your own people. The real gangster is the one that's controlling your ass. The one that could come get you and put you in lockdown and put you in jail and tell you when to get up for breakfast. Okay, when to go get some sun and when to shut the hell up and when to turn the lights off and turn the lights on. That's the real gangster. That's the real gangster. You would think in 2024, where we are way into the age of Aquarius, you know what I'm saying, into the age of enlightenment, you would think that more of us would be on the national stage, letting our voices be heard, bringing the thunder and the rain. You would think we would be doing that. But nah. Well, did you see the drone? Did you see P. Diddy? Well, Jay-Z was sleeping with her when she was 13. Who gave a damn? I'm not saying we shouldn't care about that. I'm not saying that. You are not in no position to reprimand Jay-Z or P. Diddy. You are not. So let the authorities deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Let the authorities deal with that. Just recently, I came across some information, I think in Mississippi or one of these places, they reinstated some type of Jim Crow law. You know what I mean? And we are not standing up as a community. You know what I'm saying? To demand certain things because we are not united. No, I'm not saying everybody's going to get together. I'm not saying that because every skinfolk ain't kinfolk. I get it. I get it. So I'm not expecting that. But there's enough of us that have enough common sense. At least I think so. But of course, I have to kind of fall back a little bit and realize that, common sense is not so common sometimes. Right? I get it. But it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Like, do some self-searching and ask yourself, what's in me that's preventing me from standing up? What's in me that's only allowing me to cater to the distractions? What's in me That's only allowing me to deal with the foolishness and the nonsense. Now I gotta give a lot of our women, some of our women credit. I see less of the ass shaking on the internet, because every video was just, if you have a message, you got to shake your ass first, or you got to show your cleavage, or you got to show your titties. Like, you have a message, but the camera's right in your titties. Like, come on. So I see a less of that, and I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I see less of brothers giving messages and they smoking and puffing and coughing their lungs out. I see less of that. Like I said, I know it was a phase, and it's gonna fade out. I get that. And everything is going to happen in its own time. But I am making you aware of those actions. You feel me? The same way, if I'm falling, I would expect a brother or a sister to do a video. You don't have to tag me in it, because I look at my Facebook page and see what people are posting, and I listen to videos, and I read posts and all that. And if there's a message in there, it may not be directed at me personally, but I have enough discipline to say, okay, you know what, man, that make a lot of sense. Let me do some self-reflection. And a lot of people don't do that. Who gives a damn if it's the Anunnaki? Anunnaki ain't your God. If that's what it is, then Anunnaki is just like one of us, is just in a different avatar. There's only one I am. There's only one source. Okay? And within that source, you have the righteous and the unrighteous. It is really that simple. The yin and the yang. Okay, there's nothing outside the all. So therefore, good and evil is within the all. But there will come a time when they will be isolated, where they will not be in one, so to speak, in confined. Okay? But it would still be within the all. It would just be in a different section of the all. And then you just have the all good, the all righteous, and that would be the new heaven on earth, which is going to happen, right? Because it's happening. But I'm saying all that to say, man, we should focus on our freedom, focus on our sovereignty. After all, it's the Jubilee, man. The trumpet has sounded. You know what I'm saying? Don't allow yourself to go another day where we have to be slaves to this system. Like I said, we shouldn't be working jobs. We shouldn't be paying bills. We shouldn't be paying rent. If the entire world population, which is about 7 or 8 billion, that's what we are told, right? If that population could fit in Texas, in California, then why are we crowded in cities and struggling, paying $1,500 rent, $1,000 rent, paying all these things, when we could be like, yo, I mean, the entire America is ours. You know, everything could change literally overnight. We just got to make up our mind and say enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? The people we think that's in control, they're not in control. You see what I'm saying? They have given us the illusion that they're in control, and we allow them to be in control. But we are the true power. But we just don't exercise that power. You know what I mean? So going back to the drones, the P. Diddy, man, listen, man. And I know maybe I'm just talking, and maybe my words, they're going to go in one ear and go out the next. All right? But I say, why don't we come together? We stand up. All right? Put all of our differences aside. Not just us, the original people, but every other ethnic group that's disenfranchised, every other ethnic group that's going through the persecution, because it's the have versus the have-nots. All right? The ones that are slaving to carry the slave master. Right? Why don't everybody stand up and say enough is enough? Enough is enough. When we get to the top, when we get to the table, then we'll discuss what's up with all these drones? You're out here asking about drones, and you can't do a damn thing about it. You're out here talking about P. Diddy, but you can't do a damn thing about it. Hmm? We still have music on our radios that's calling all women bitches and hoes and talking about I want to kill an N word and I want to do it. And you support these songs. You're not doing anything about that. But you righteous though. But you're woke. But you woke though. Mm, really? Oh well, let me break this down to you because nobody up. No. So if you're not standing up for righteousness, you cannot preach righteousness to me. If you're not standing up and doing something about the unrighteous, you cannot talk to me about being woke. You cannot talk to me about spirituality. You cannot talk to me about love. You can't talk to me about these things because you're looking for followers. I'm not looking for followers, man. I'm not looking for likes. I'm giving the message, and behind the message, I'm like, let's stand up on the message and let's act on the message. Come on. These people have created a prison for us and they want to give us passports. We got to beg them to pass our ports. Hmm? Hence, it's called a passport. You shouldn't need a passport to travel. No, that is a man-made creation, okay, to limit people and imprison people. We're supposed to be able to travel this entire world and go anywhere we want to go, anybody. Because why? Whether you believe, and I'm not asking you to believe, because if I ask you to believe me, in the word believe is the word lie. But whether you subscribe to the Bible or any other religious text as being the foundation of truth, let's go back to the first verse in Genesis. Not the first verse, but the first chapter. It says that God created us in their likeness and image, in there, as in plural, because it God's, let us. Okay? And every text pretty much says the same thing. In every culture you go, they have their own version of the creation story. But the bottom line is man was given dominion over everything. We are the lords of this earth. So how dare we allow people to tell us what to do, when to do it? But however, we should hold ourselves responsible as a community that when someone violate, then we got to deal with them. I totally agree with that. Because we cannot allow people just because, hey, you have dominion, you could just go around using people and abusing people and killing people and hurting people. Now, we're not going to allow that. That's why we have to police and community and protect our own. But the point I'm making is if that's what you stand for to be the truth, and God said, listen, I made you in my likeness and image. Whatever you think it means, obviously it's not in the flesh, but it's the I am in you. That's the likeness of that so-called God. The flesh is just the host. So you are not the flesh. So there's something that's in you greater than the flesh. So if that greater thing has dominion, why are we allowing other people to control that I am in us? Enslave that I am in us. If you are enslaved, that means your God is enslaved. I don't care what you call it. Yahweh, Yehoshua, Jehoshua, I don't give a damn what you call it. It is still a slave. Your God in you is a slave, and the God that you worship is a damn slave. Because we allowing other gods, okay, to enslave us. And it's unfortunate people that think like me and ready to step up like me. We have to deal with that because we among a bunch of people that just don't get it. They don't see it. They don't reflect on what it's like. It has become normal to be a slave. Just because you're not, they give you the illusion of slavery only exists on the plantation with the chains and all that. No, man, it's mental slavery, man. And Bob Marley said it best: emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves could free our minds. That's where the slavery started. Okay, it started with the mind. And if they could convince you that you're a slave in your mind, then your body will be enslaved. If they convince you in your mind that you're from Africa, then the body will think it's from Africa. But it has nothing to do with Africa or whether you're from the Americas or Europe or Asia or Antarctica or Australia. It ain't got nothing to do with that. The bottom line is this. There's a handful of people controlling the masses, and they are controlling every facet of your life. And y'all just think it's a joke. Y'all don't you just think it's a game. You think it's a game. Come on, man. There is there is no law. Okay, there's no natural law that says you cannot police yourself. You cannot police your community. Okay? Regardless of what these people say, they cannot tell us what to do. Well, apparently they are, and you're doing it. You feel me? We have the right to stand up and police our own community. We have a right to stand up and create our own economy. We have a right to do those things. And self-preservation is one of the number one rule in the universe. And anybody try to prevent us from preserving ourselves, then we have a right to defend ourselves by any means necessary. We have that right. Period. Our children should not be in these people's schools. And when I say these people, I'm talking about the system that's brainwashing them. The system should not be able to come and take your children away from your homes. You dig? Think about it, man. Think about it. The illusion of the American dream is being pushed, but all of us are in debt. That's why you're born in sin, because that's what debt means. Debt means sin. People think, oh, well, it's because, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, and that's not a sin, man. Those are immoral acts. Okay, those are immoral acts. The number one sin is not honoring the covenant that was made with the gods, which is to be fruitful, multiply, and have dominion. That was the first law that was given to us. And we here violating, once you violated that, you fell. It is really that simple. And that's another fall. There were many falls. Okay, falling from heaven doesn't necessarily mean it was a bad thing, like they want you to think, because for you to be in the flesh, that means you have to fall from the spiritual, mental, heavenly realm to fall into the flesh. That was the first fall. It had nothing to do with, oh, well, a man named Satan fighting against God. No, it was just the higher self fighting, debating, struggling with the lower self to go into the flesh. And it was finally accomplished. And then the flesh won. So therefore, the flesh get to control this realm. That's why the God said, listen, I'm giving you dominion, because you won. You won the battle. The flesh won the battle. But we are the lords of this realm. You don't have to call on anything to come assist us, because why? We were given dominion. You know what that means? You were made a king. You were made a queen of this realm. So why are we living as peasants? And we're doing it willingly. We're doing it voluntarily. We're not seeing that it's insane the way we are living our lives. We are being taxed to death, and the people that's taking the taxes, they living in heaven. They live in the dream. Give you the illusion that you're supposed to pay taxes. Who made that rule? Who made that rule? If you want to go tax your citizens and your people, do that. But we are the original people of this land. If we say we're not doing that, then you cannot force us to do that. Nobody could force you to do anything. Period. I mean, what part of that we just can't get? What part of that you just can't get? We have to go beg people for welfare, beg people for jobs. Then you go, they say, oh, no, you got to go to school from the age of 2 or, to for 18. And then after you're 18, you got to get ready for college and all your life. Another 4 years, you get your associates. Then you got to go for the masters. So by the time you get your masters, you in your 30s, or some people get it earlier, but the majority in their 30s, their 30s, and whatever. Then you accumulate all this debt because you're in sin. Because that's what debt means. Debt means sin, right? And then you're in debt. And then you got to spend the next 30, 40, 50 years trying to pay it off. And it's a cycle that keeps repeating, 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 repeating itself. And nobody see a problem with it because it has become the norm. How in the hell you going to tell me that I'm going to go through all this schooling, all right, for more than half my life to put myself in debt to help the economy that put me in debt? So who's paying for your enslavement? Who's paying for your debt? The same system that's teaching you to get in debt. The same system you got to work for. And they give you the illusion of this trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, okay, of the economy. The deficit isn't, it's an illusion. It's an illusion. It's not real because the money is not real. Okay? It's an illusion. Paying taxes is an illusion. Buying food is an illusion. It's all an illusion. Going to your job and these people taking your money after you give them your tears, your sweat. No, you exchange your energy for a service. Nobody have a right to tell you, give me half of yours. And then at the end of the year, you got to file for a quarter back of it. And I'm going to take 3/4 of it and give you a quarter, call your tax return. Who made that rule? When was that instituted? And who decided for everybody that's going to be the status quo? And then you, every 4 years, you made the decision to go put these people in office. Every 4 years. Or sometime if it's local election, you don't hold your electors, okay, responsible for the things that's being done. No, I'm not saying that if as a collective, we say, okay, you know what, their roads needed. All right, cool. Let's fix the roads. We could do that. I don't have a problem with that because it's for the convenience of everybody. But you cannot tax me to death. You cannot put me in all this debt. You see what I'm saying? And you still want to put me in jail for the debt you created in the first place? It's like you created the problem and you're trying to give me the solution, which in your solution is still a problem. Man, listen, man, we got to do better than this, man. We got to do it better than this. And like I said, I know this right here is going to go over heads. It's going to go in one ear. It's going to go out the next. And I just wish there was some place where I could take the small group of people that are just like me and ready to step up and do what we got to do and just go in a small, just give us one small portion of the earth and just leave us alone. We don't have to deal with nobody else. We'll grow our food. We have our water. We'll create our own electricity. We don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm cool with that. We don't even need phones. We don't need TVs. We don't need none of that. Just block us out of this world, this illusion, and just let us be. I am so cool with that. I am so okay with that. And then you have your Elon Musk and all these different people that's now in power. The people that are billionaires, trillionaires in power, but yet still the people who are voting them in, they're poor and broke. Hmm? It's like just like the pastors. They have all the money, they have all the fancy cars, they have all this wealth, but the flock is broke. I mean, can't we see that it is all part of the same game that's being played? The people in power, they have the wealth, and the people that vote them in or support them, that pay their taxes, they're the most broke. Don't you see that something is wrong with that? Hmm? When all you have to do is make up your mind and say enough is enough. It's in your head. All these things that they put in your mind, it's in your head. They put it in there. They implanted it in there from the moment we were young. Happened to our children. They are our parents, their parents. This is what it is. Says whom? Who created that rule? Who put that in place? Who said I'm supposed to go slave and give you my money? Who says that? And then you make the determination, I'm going to raise prices on everything. Because if it's going to be imported, I'm going to tax the people that's bringing it in. So they have to tax people to get it. Who's making that decision? Who's making those decisions? Hmm? I don't know, man. Sometimes, I'm just lost for words, man. But you know what? I think I said enough. I've actually been on here, longer than I thought I would be. But I'm not gonna apologize for that. So thank you for allowing me to vent, man. It's like it's just enough is enough, man. Enough is enough. Like, come on, man. Like, aren't you tired of being a slave, man? Aren't you tired of just getting up every day and going to work like a slave, like a dog, and nothing is changing? Aren't you tired of going to the store and you can't afford to eat properly? Hmm? Aren't you tired of turning on the radio and every song is about a bitch and a hoe and about killing somebody? Aren't you tired of that? Aren't you tired of the low vibrational stuff, man? Hmm? Aren't you tired of that demonic energy? What about love? What about peace? What about eating good food? What about community? What about village? What about that? What about holding the people that's creating the chaos? The so-called leaders that's creating the chaos. How about us stepping up and say, no, enough is enough. We are taking control of this. How about that for a change? How about us as the original people standing up and saying, listen, man, this is our land. We know the truth. We ain't got to beg you. We ain't got to ask you for anything. It's ours. It's our birthright. You're here as a guest, and your stay was only temporary. You see, I know the original Constitution. Their welcome in power was temporary. It is not a permanent position. And there were stipulations. I know what they are. I don't care what you call yourself. You could call yourself a Moor, American Indian, a native. I don't care what you call yourself, man. We are all being enslaved by the system. It may be a different type of slavery, but be it as it may, it is still slavery. Hmm? While these people live the dreams, they go to their big homes and their $1 million cars. And I'm not saying we all got to have $1 million cars, but leave us alone. Let us get a piece of the pie. Let us get our little 40 acres, and we don't need the mule. We'll take a horse or two. You get what I'm saying? There's enough land in the entire Americas, in the entire United States for everybody to get a little portion and mind their own business and live comfortably, create their own little communities if they want to. That's cool, but no. But no, the colonizers will not allow it unless we make them allow it. We let them know we ain't doing that no more. Come on, man. Stop being victims, man. Where's that warrior mentality? Hmm? We got that red Indian blood in us. And we would rather die before we became enslaved. But the problem is, most of us don't know we're enslaved because it's mental. It's not physical. If it was a thing, I'm trust me. That's why I know the whole idea of us being slaves and coming from Africa. Listen, that's not us. Because that's not in our nature. We would rather die. Because that's the mentality of the so-called American Indian. We would rather die than be slaves. So that's why I know we didn't do good with physical slavery. That's why we were around walking all over the place. And they had to trick a lot of our people and send them to Africa, whether it's Sierra Leone or Liberia or different parts of the Americas, and switch us from here to there because they know that they cannot enslave us physically. They know this. So they have to try other means. Mental slavery. That's what worked. And it doesn't mean that we are weak-minded. No, it doesn't mean that. You see what I'm saying? We fell for wanting to be a part of a society that was detrimental to our nature. We fell for wanting to be a part of a society that was detrimental to our spirituality, our growth. Okay? It's alien to us. It is not part of our nature. It's not part of our culture. Living in the cities, cramped up, that's not us. Living in the stone jungles, that's not us. And even those of us that still live in the country, whatever the case is, we are so poisoned because they gave our people, the celebrities, the reality shows, the artists, okay, the basketball players, the football players, the baseball players. This is nothing but Rome all over again. But that's what Rome did. When the people got tired, when they felt like the people was, the people wanted to revolt or the people wanted to stand up and fight, what they did, they put them in a coliseum and gave them entertainment. And they gave they paid a lot of people a lot of money to fight each other. So now you see that, oh wow, somebody like me just made $2 million fighting his brother, fighting his sister. So now that's what's going on. The MMA, boxing, all these things is literally the vice of Rome. You don't have to fight, box somebody's head off to be a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? If we just say enough is enough, because it's already there, it's ours. You don't have to go in a ring. You don't have to go on a court, okay? And East versus West and this and that, or going to the NBA or going to the NFL to become a millionaire to take care of your family. So everybody's chasing that dream. Everybody's chasing that illusion, not realizing that only 1% of these people make it. 1% or even less make it. But they have to give you the illusion. It's Rome. All those are literally foundations of the Colosseum. That's what it is. So it's nothing new under the sun, man. It's nothing new under the sun. Wow. And I know I'm not the only one seeing this. I know I'm not. Maybe I'm the only one delivering it the way that I am. But come on, man. We don't have to struggle, lineage. We don't have to. We could live the best life because we were meant to live the best life. After all, I'm going to repeat this again. If you were made in the likeness and image of God, and God is abundant, then why aren't we abundant? Hmm? If God is a sovereign God, which it says in the book, why aren't we sovereigns? So obviously there's another energy, another entity at play, which is another God or playing God controlling our minds, controlling our people. Now, I don't care if you, like I said, I don't care if you think you're African. I don't care if you think you're Asian. I don't care if you think you're from Europe. I don't care if you think you're from any other place on earth. The bottom line is we are in this prison. The United States is a jail. It's a prison. In fact, all these nation states are corporations. They are prisons. The only thing is the United States is the biggest one of them all. It's the biggest prison on earth. You think you're free because you could get on a plane, you could go to work, you could go to a store and buy things and do it. You think you're free, but you're not free. You're not free. You don't own anything because all of that can be taken away. The property of a slave belongs to the master. It is really that simple, man. It is really that simple. We are being censored. We cannot speak the truth. Facebook want to block videos and, oh, you're violating community standards. YouTube want to do the same thing. It's this, they all gatekeepers, man. That's why they are in the position that they put themselves in to monitor everything that you say, everything that you do. Because they are the wards of the prison. We are in prison. We are in jail, man. Don't you want your freedom? Don't you want to be able to just get up and go if you want to without anybody, restricting you? Hmm? Don't you want to be able to just go into your backyard and get your food and or build with our brothers and sisters that's in the land? So I mean, so be it. You want to be in the city, fine, but we should be able to, be corresponding or building bonds with our brothers and sisters that's actually on the land growing food and practice group economics and say, hey, listen, man, we know we're in the city. If you need certain things, we can send it to you. You're on the land, send us certain foods, and then don't have no other entity preventing us from doing that because they're not getting a piece from it. We have to stop allowing these people to control every facet of our lives, man. And then they give you every season. It's a basketball season, a football season, a baseball season. So every time you turn around, you don't have no time to sit back, reflect, and say, okay, you know what, this needs to be changed. I need to come together with my people and build and unite and come together and say enough is enough. Now, if it's not sports, then it's a reality show, a new season. Tyler Perry, it's somebody, it's always somebody they're going to put out there. It's always a season for something. And that's cool because they get it. Because life is about season and reason. So they are playing on that because they know that's what you're going to gravitate to. Because life is about season and reason. So let me ask you a question. If the people who created these vices, okay, they are manipulating your season and reason with their own, and they have you subscribe to it because Facebook is a subscription. It's free, but it's not free because we are being controlled. YouTube is free, but it's not free. You see what I'm saying? Because you are paying with it with your energy. If YouTube is paying you 0 point something cents on a like, a video, whatever the case is, trust me, they're making billions. So the slave master is always one step ahead. So if they know their season and they know how to manipulate the season because they have a reason, I'm asking you, what's your season and what's your reason? When is your season? When is your reason? What is your reason? What is your season? Or is it based on other people's season and their reason? Because that's what it is. That's what it is. Because we're not getting a piece of the pie. Okay, we are not getting the piece of the pie. Everything was built on our backs, but we are not getting a piece of the pie. We're over here begging for reparations. We shouldn't be begging for nothing. And like I said, the burden of proof is on these people. We just got to step up. Prove that we are not the original people. Show me, give me the receipts. Show me the receipts because they can't show us the receipts because it doesn't exist. So now they have no choice. Couple of artists and they have to keep the window so small. Only less than 1% could get in. And the less than 1% that get in, they have to push the illusion, flash the diamonds and flash the money and flash the jewelry and flash the cars. Let them think that everybody could be a rapper and be successful. We will give 0.0 something percent, okay, a few $1 million, yes, but it's contingent on one thing. You got to be self-destructive. You got to destroy your people. You got to kill your people. It's the only way we're going to make sure you get paid. All right? And the moment you catch that awakening bug, because everyone has to be touched by the age of Aquarius, and it's up to you to determine if you're going to ascend or continue to descend. But once you make the conscious decision to ascend, now they have all these things on you. How dare you? That's what's happening. So let's focus on us. You see, we're not in that limelight. We don't have contracts with these people like that. So we could step up. You see, we are the ones that really have to change things. It is not the man on top that's going to change it. No, the man on top don't need changes. The man on top don't need changes as far as he is concerned. It's the people that was born in the manger that's going to step up, become the Christ and make the change. Not the people that's on top, not the Antichrist. You see, it is all allegory. It is all symbolic. It is all metaphysical. You feel me? That's why the allegorical Jesus, Yeshua, what name you want to call, I don't care. The person wasn't real, period. But the question is, did you get the message? That's why he was born in a manger. What is a manger? Okay, a place where animals were born. It is telling you that the flesh was in there with the animal. It's the lower self. It's symbolic. But even if you were born in the lower self, you're able to rise and become the highest of the highest self, which is the Christ consciousness. That is the moral of the story. That's the moral of the story. So with all these people that took the deals to destroy their people, and now we're in the age of Aquarius, they want to do the right thing, but they haven't repented. You see, you got to repent. And therefore they have to lose everything and be crucified. That is the story of the physical man or woman ascending into the Christ. You got to be crucified. You got to lose everything. Your higher self. Possession. Because why? All we know was the worldly possession. That's what religion did. Religion took away the concept of your higher self, being in touch with the God in you, and teach you about materialistic things, about the world, and it's reverse psychology. You see what I'm saying? Teach you that money is bad. And when you teach people something is bad, then they're more inclined to go after what's bad because people are living in their lower nature. You see, it's reverse psychology. Oh, well, money is the root of all evil. So if money is the root of the love of money is the root of why people chasing money so bad. You see what I'm saying? Because the lower nature always does things contrary to the higher self. That's what Satan is. All Satan means is adversary. The lower self is the adversary of the higher self, and the higher self is the adversary of the lower self. But we are living in such a beautiful and wonderful and amazing time, okay, as a people or just people in general could come together and say, listen, man, enough is enough. We're not being slaves no more. We ain't doing that. We are going to police our own communities, and there's nothing you could do about that. All you got to do is just put them on notice. It's a simple notice because every day they put you on notice. They put you on notice with a statute, a code, the news. Everything is a notice, and you just acquiesce to it. You just agree to it. Where's your notice at? Hmm? Where's our news at? Where are our contracts at? I think I vented enough. I said enough. And you know, that's why they always deem people like me dangerous people. All right. And I don't need a gun. I don't need a knife. All right. To be powerful because I am powerful. You feel me? And people such as myself, we are more powerful and dangerous as far as they're concerned. Then they would rather me have a gun. They would rather me have a gun because they know they have bigger guns, and it would be easier to take me out with a gun. But you see, I'm using my words as my form of ammunition, and that's the most dangerous tool, the most powerful tool ever. Is your thoughts, your words, and your actions. The Trinity. And it's in each and every one of us. What are we afraid of? What are we afraid of? You chasing a dream to be a rapper when the entire world is yours. The entire earth is yours. The entire America is ours. Hmm? Why are we chasing the dream to be a football player so we could take care of mama, we could take care of the family when it's already ours? We are fighting for what's already ours. We're allowing people to pay us for what's already ours. It's ours. It's our birthright. It belongs to us. All we have to do is just step up and say, hey, listen, man, we gave you a certain amount of time, and I could prove it. I could prove it. that we gave you a certain amount of time to be on this land, and it was only temporary. Now we are ready to step up and restore the law. Because, like I said before, there's a difference between lawful and legal. It is really that simple. And we're living in a legal system that is based on a certain society. And their own language is legalese. That is their language. That's what they speak, legalese. That's not law. Only the original people of the land, of any land, could make a law. Because they are the organic people. They are the de jure people, not the de facto people. The de facto people could only have a legal system, a legal society. That's why they have the bar association and they have the legal society, because they cannot make laws. You think it's law. It's not law. It is not law. You feel me? So their statutes and codes are not laws. They are exactly what they say they are. Statutes, codes, and ordinances. That's what God means, and that's what they have it on their dollar bill, on their money. In God we trust. What does God mean? Governmental ordinances, departments. That's all it is. And they create codes and stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying in a society there should not be any type of code of ethics. I'm not saying that. But if I'm not out here hurting people, damaging people's property, causing injury, then I haven't broken the damn law. You feel what I'm saying? So we have to know these things. All right. And I'm not asking us to be terrorists. No, that's not what I don't want nobody to misconstrue my words. All I'm just saying is let's stand up as a people so that we could have representation when decisions are being made. You see what I'm saying? When decisions are being made that's affecting us, why don't we have a voice? That's what I'm asking. Because it's affecting each and every one of us. Why don't we have a voice? If we are the original people of the land, which we are, why are we still paying student loans? Why do we have all this debt when we are owed these things? Why is that? The reason why it's not happening is because we refuse to come together. We rather stay distracted. We rather do videos about Jay-Z. We rather do videos about drones. We rather do videos about Anunnaki. What is Anunnaki doing for you? Did you forget the story of the Anunnaki who came here and tried to enslave the people? To get gold to replenish their planet? So let me ask you a question. If Earth was the one who had to rescue your planet, that means that the people on Earth were actually your gods. You feel me? So yes, we're connected to the Anunnaki, whatever they are, but they're not greater than me. They're not greater than you. So people are just so distracted with all this nonsense, man. All this Anunnaki and all this stuff is irrelevant. All this drones thing is irrelevant. What matters is you and I. That's it. That's all that's real is that's it. Nothing else. Nothing else. It's the now. The now is that's what counts. The now. You feel me? We focus on the now. Guess what's going to happen? When you spell now backwards, what do you get? One. Because we have already won. I'm going to repeat that because that's going to go over some heads. If we focus on the now and we do what we're supposed to do, then we would have already won. Because when you flip the word now, you get one. The victory is already ours. You did. And I'll keep reminding you, we don't have to prove anything to anybody. Whether you think you're African American, whether you think you're black, you West Indian, you Afro American, I don't care. I don't care what you feel you are. The bottom line is, American Indian, it doesn't matter. Aboriginal, it doesn't matter. We are still enslaved. So what's the point of being all that if we're not going to do anything about it? And don't get me wrong, man. Yes, we have a whole new generation of people coming up and they're posting their little videos because they're learning now. They're learning. All right. But those of us who's been doing this for the longest, we should be at a point where we should be doing and not just talking. Because I think we talked enough. And it's not going to take a whole lot of us. No. Just a handful. A handful to get on the scene and start saying the things that people already know. You see how Trump got on the scene and start saying things that people want to say, but they was afraid to say? See what happened? Now he's the president of the corporation. So all we just need is just to keep pushing forward and pushing and pressure bust pipe. Okay? The pressure and pressure and pressure will make diamonds. And that's all we have to do. Keep pushing. We call radio stations. We call BET. Like I said, man, listen, we have to take action. We are the ones at the bottom. We have to stand up for ourselves because our children are being poisoned with their minds, the music, the information. Our children don't know how to resolve situations because why? The parents don't know how to resolve situations. So everything is chaotic. Come on. And don't get me wrong. Whatever P. Diddy and Jay-Z got to go through, let them go through it. But my question is, if the biggest criminals, all right, that's persecuting them, okay, who's the one who's going to judge them? The ones that's persecuting Jay-Z and P. Diddy and all of them. Who are the ones that's going to persecute them? The ones who actually created the problem in the first place. Who's going to police the police? See, we don't think about that. Who's going to judge the judges that's sending our children to jail? Who's going to prosecute the prosecutors that's sending our children to jail? As the original people of the land, we have a right to set up our own. Period. We have a right to set up our own. And they have no right to drag our people into their court system. Let us deal with our people. Let us deal with our people. If there's a situation, you come into our venue. We deal with that. Okay? And then we decide what justice will be for our own people. You judge your own people. If they violate us, okay, the bottom line is we have the higher jurisdiction because we are the original people of the land. So if we so choose to deal with your people in your court, fine. But if we decide to bring them into our court, we have every right to do that because we have the highest jurisdiction in the land. Period, point blank. So your court is not the superior court. Your court will be the minor court, and we will be the superior court because we are the superior people on the land. Because why? We are the original people of the land. No, that does not mean, it doesn't mean that we are going to be egotistical and abuse people and ill-treat people. That's not what it means. It just means that we have to set order. That's all it means. But how can you set order when you yourself are in disorder? How can you set order when you yourself are in chaos? That's why the ancestors is not relinquishing the power back to us, right? Because you're too distracted in your lower self focusing on everything else except self-preservation, except building yourself to be the sovereign man and woman that you are, except, working with your disciples and becoming the 13th son, which is the Christ. That's what we should be focusing on. Everything else will work out itself. Let the drones fly, man. A drone is nothing but a mechanical bird. Whether you think it's coming from another planet or it's coming from whatever it is, it doesn't matter. The only thing that's real is what's within you. That's the only thing that's real. That's the only thing that's in the now. That's it. That's where you need to look. When you start seeing drones inside of you, that's when you should be concerned. Now, you do a live on that, man, there's a drone inside of me. Oh, yes, I'm definitely a follower because I want to know some more. You feel me? But we got to focus, my brothers and sisters. We got to focus. And I'm not saying anything wrong. I'm not being anti-government. No, as a matter of fact, I am actually for government in the sense of we have to govern our own mental. Okay? I am for government. We have to govern our own mental because that's what governmental departments are. They are governing your mental. Okay? Let us stop making all these other videos go viral, man. You know what I mean? I don't monetize my videos because I didn't want to deal with that. I just want to put out the message and let my people know it's time to come together. We got to be tired of struggling. Our babies, come on, man. Our men, our women, we got to come together. We got to stop fighting each other. We got to stop competing against each other. And remember when I told you it was a phase that you would see the brothers going against the sisters and the sisters going against the brothers. Remember I told you that? It was going to happen, and it happened. And now that's a phase that they had to go through. So now it's dying out. All these things that's happening, I already told you about them. And don't believe anything that I say. Just go through my videos. And you will see a point in time when Chief told you about the Jubilee. In 2017, Chief told you about Trump. Chief told you about the weed. Chief told you about every single thing that I've spoken to you about came to pass. I mean, it may not be verbatim. You see what I'm saying? But the bottom line is I am literally within 95 to 98%, sometimes 100% within the realm of what I spoke of. So I got to know something. I'm getting that information from somewhere, and it's just in my head. I think about it, or it just come to me, and I ask for more clarification, and they gave it to me. I was laying down earlier, all right, got into a little state of meditation, spoke to the ancestors, the higher self, give me something, give me something. And they say, hey, you know what, Chief? This is what you bring to the people. Some may get it, some may not get it. Some may be ready, some may not be ready. It is what it is, but put the message out. Put the message out. We don't have to be struggling. We don't have to be begging people for food. We don't have to be begging people for money. We don't have to be paying light. And all these things is free, man. It's supposed to be free. Why are we paying for things that the great spirit, God, whatever you want to call the source, the all, that said, listen, you have dominion. It's yours. Why are we paying for it? Why? Just think about what I'm saying. It's asinine. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Whether you think you're a Christian, a Muslim, a Judaism, an Israelite, I don't give a damn what you think you are. The bottom line is you're still a slave. You feel me? Let us come together and do what we got to do. And I'm talking about standing up, let our voices be heard, stepping up or in position and saying, listen, man, this is who we are. We are going to govern our own selves. So now we have a seat at the table, and then we could discuss everything. We could talk about Buddha. We could talk about Zeus. We could talk about Anunnaki. We could talk about everything on an open forum. But guess what? You know when you go home, you ain't got to pay bills. You know when you go home, you ain't got to worry about where the next meal is coming from. You know when you go home, the next 48 hours, somebody's not going to come knock your door and tell you, well, we're going to take your children. Okay? You know, well, within the next 72 hours, if something does happen to you, you could go to the hospital and not get a bill. All these things are supposed to be free. They're supposed to be free, at least for us, the original people. But it's supposed to be free for everybody because those things are already paid for. They're already paid for. Why haven't we stood up and demand that our brothers and sisters who went to jail for all this, this infractions, they're not even crimes. They made it criminal, but it's not a crime. Well, it depends because anything could be a crime based on their legal system. But they did not hurt anybody. They didn't injure anybody. They didn't damage anybody's property, but they're in jail. Why are they in jail? And the system is making money off of them. Why? But we're just so passive about these things. We're so passive about it. Then if a so-called police or somebody that is of another ethnicity shoots one of our people, then it becomes a big topic for 2-3 months, then it dies out. Okay, but yet still we have our people promoting killing our own in rap songs, and that's what you dance to, that's what you got your children listening to, and that's cool though. Self-destruction is fine. It's only a problem when somebody else does it. All right, and it's only a problem for 2 months. Hmm? George Zimmerman was still walking around. He's still walking around. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. And those of you that feel the way that I feel, trust me, I know exactly what you're going through. I know exactly what you're feeling. I know the disgust. I know the impatience, the frustration. I know that, but all that's just part of it. You feel me? Those are just even those those feelings, those emotions. They're all illusions as well. But it's okay to vent because if you don't vent, you're going to lose your mind. So I want to thank y'all for allowing me to vent. You feel me? Because I have to speak. I can't speak to the people in my house. Okay? They're all indoctrinated. I can't talk to them. They're too far gone. So I have to come to you and vent and talk and be passionate about things. When I speak, they take my passion for anger. That's because that's their own self mechanism for kind of like deflecting. So they're switching it on me being angry. You see what I'm saying? And that's what they're doing. The same thing that the system does. You feel me? The same thing that the system does. You get up and speak, all of a sudden you're crazy. All of a sudden you're a terrorist. That's what they do. That's what they are taught to do. They're doing the same thing the system taught them to do. Make you the villain. You see what I'm saying? Make you the enemy. And that's what it's done. You dig? So my brothers and sisters, there's nothing wrong. Yeah, if you feel like you're part of another Indian tribe and everybody want to be a chief, nobody want to be an Indian. Listen, that's cool. I don't care. I don't care. Whatever I already set up, listen, if you want to be the chief of it, be the chief of it. As long as my people are free, that's my focus. You see all this egotistical thing, and I'm the chief of this and I'm the chief man, this. I don't get into all of that. I don't want to get caught up with all of that. Be the chief. I don't care. As long as we're standing up together and we're fighting for our freedom, our sovereignty, okay, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Come on, man. Our people already paid the price. And all these foreigners, these colonizers that came into our land and they're living the dream. We paid for that. We bled for that. We were sacrificed for that. Now it's time for them to pay the piper. It's time for them to acknowledge that. You feel me? That's where we should be at right now. Not continue begging for things. We don't have to beg for anything. We just have to step in place and say, listen, we know, and we know you know who we are. So we're here to make America great again. We are the only ones that could do that. Nobody else. No foreigner could make America great. And by the way, the United States is not America. It's the true blood, attacked on people are the only ones that could make this continent great again. We are. You feel me? We are the only ones that could do that. And they know this. That's why they have to keep us disenfranchised. That's why they have to keep us, in a chaotic realm. Okay? The cigarettes, the liquor, the weed, all these different devices, the music. Okay? Sports, all these things are big distractions, man. Big distractions. I promise you, less than 1% of rappers and singers and entertainers and actors, they less than 1% of them make it. But yet still, 100% of them want to be a rapper. Why is that? It's an illusion that's being pushed. Okay? And for you to get there, what they tell you, you have to talk about killing your people. All right? You have to degrade your women. Is the only way you're going to get $1 million deal. And the truth of the matter is they get the money, and guess what? Out of the less than 1%, 95% of the less than 1% end up broke. So you tell me, how successful are our people? And you wonder when they get in power why they cannot do so much, because they are not allowed to do. They are not allowed to do. It's not in their contract. They cannot uplift their people. That wasn't the deal. That wasn't the contract. But when their souls start eating them up, especially in the age of Aquarius, when they start gaining some type of righteous consciousness, the people say, listen, man, hold up. Let's go to the closet and let's pull out this contract that you signed 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Now we got something on you, buddy. Because you sold your soul. And it's too late for a lot of them. But for a lot of us that's on the ground, we don't have this type of contract, so we could stand up. We could stand up and finally be a voice for our people. We are the only ones that's voiceless in our own land. Black people ain't speaking for us. We ain't black. Okay? Even if the same people that call themselves black, over 98% of them are actually original people of the land. But so when I say black people aren't our people, I'm not talking about the individual itself. I'm talking about the concept of calling yourself black in a land or within a legal society that says black is dead in law. C'est liberté mutus. There's nothing wrong with black. I love black cars. I like black clothes. I like black shoes. I mean, I have a moccasin that's black. I love it. But I'm not black. You feel me? You see, when we get to the table and we have a say and there's justice and there's equality, then we could call ourselves anything we want to. You could walk around talking about, man, I'm purple, I'm green. It's cool. If you want to be a color at that point, it's fine. But don't be a color in a system that deal with the color of law and calls you a chattel. You see what I'm saying? I call you dead in law because you're calling yourself that and you don't know what it means. I ain't got nothing against the color black. No. But it's the energy that it carries right now is problematic for our people. So we have to step out of the blackness. Step out of it. And then we could step back into it. It's okay. But we got to be in control. We got to be in power. We got to have a say. We got to be at the table. And like I said before, I've been consistent for over 10 years. Go look at all my videos, man. And look at my messages. Of course, YouTube deleted some of them. Okay. And it's okay. I have some of them that's even where I made it private because I got a strike from YouTube. So I made it private. You feel me? But my message has been consistent. It's always been about who we are, coming together, uplifting our people, doing things to make us better, whether it's group economics, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Okay? We have to start looking inside within ourselves and ask ourselves, why can't we do what these other ethnic groups are doing? Why can't we do what the Jews are doing? Why we can't come together and teach our own children? Jews don't send their children to other people's schools. No. They have their own communities. They have their own police. Okay, they're the only ones I know in New York that could literally change the whole dynamic of a city, block the street. Okay, I mean, a street that's actually a street, make sure, it's no longer a street because they want to block it off to put up new buildings. They're the only ones that could do that. Nobody else could get a permit to do that. Why? Because they are the ones that create the permit. They're the ones that create the law. They run the courts. They run the police. Oh, y'all don't see that? It's not just in New York. It's all over the U.S. But yet still we are the original people here. And then we have to be at the beck and call of these people that's in our land, vampires, sucking our blood, sucking our energy, telling us what we should do and what we can't do. And if you don't do that, we're going to put you here. So who gave you that authority? Who gave you that power? If you think you're a God, if you say you're a God, then act like it. You're a king, or I'm a queen. I'm a king, I'm a queen. But we begging people? That's what we call independence? That's why I say the whole concept of being independent is pure stupidity because, nature wasn't meant to be that way. Nature was meant to be interdependent. Okay. Nature was meant for people to live together in coherence. Okay. Coexist. A symbiotic relationship. That whole concept of being independent, it was a plot to divide our people. Okay. Our men were in homes. Now, granted, yes, the man might go out and cheat, if you call it cheating, because that's not cheating. That's just that was always part of the culture. Men was having children all over the place. Even women was having children all over the place. Now, I'm not saying that should be the culture in terms of being irresponsible, just having children and not taking care of your children. No. But there was a time when men, even if they were having children all over the place, they were taking care of their children. And the system didn't like that. Didn't like that. So they told the mothers, we're going to make things hard for your men so they can't provide. Okay, we're going to make it hard for them so they cannot provide. We're going to put crack, cocaine, drugs. We're going to make sure we lock them up. It becomes so hard for you when you have to come to us for assistance. But if you come to us for assistance, the man cannot be in the home. He cannot be in the home. Why on Good Times? They killed off James. You see, y'all don't realize the subliminal messages they put in our faces because James was the pillar of the family. But when they made the decision, we got to take the man out of the home. All right? We have to take that man out. Take him out of the home. That is too much of a strong family structure. So the only way for the mother to get the help, the man has to be died. He has to die out. He has to be killed. Okay, not literally, but in the scene, in the episodes, yes, and in real life, meaning that he had to be out of the house. That's the only way she could have gotten the help. So my sisters, I don't blame you for the trauma you've been through. I don't blame you for the things that you've been through. But we have to heal ourselves. We have to forgive ourselves. Yes, you had to do what you had to do. But don't blame the brothers. And brothers, don't blame the sisters. They didn't have a choice. You didn't have a choice. We didn't have a choice. And of course, we always have choices. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes circumstances allow you to do things that you will not normally do. And if you're not quite in a position mentally, you're not vibrating on such a frequency, then you're going to step lower into your lower self. You see what I'm saying? So that was the perfect time to make that happen. These people aren't stupid. They know the zodiacs. Okay? They know the signs. They know how to manipulate and control our people because they know the ages. They know what's going to happen. So now we're in the age of Aquarius where it's time for us to come together, build. It's no longer about the individuality. That was in the age of Pisces. That's why the so-called allegorical Jesus was the one savior of the world. And I'm saying allegory because he wasn't real. It was all symbolic. You feel me? But now it's about the collective, the age of Aquarius. Everybody now got to become the Christ and come together and stand up. The family structure got to come back together. So my sisters, you got to fall back and stop trying to be so independent. You'll realize women not talking about that so much no more. Why? Because there has to be a shift. And you will stop hearing brothers talking about, oh, well, you're my woman, you got to do what I got to say. You see, there has to be a shift as well. It's time for equilibrium. It's time for balance. The family structure got to be back in place. Everybody, yes, has a role, but that role is respected, not as I own you or I'm ruling you or you're my possession. No, nobody owns anybody. Stop thinking you own a man or a man owns you. No, man. Now, if you want to have that type of contract, then you do that. You could contract with whomever you want. But nobody owned me, and I don't own nobody. We could have agreements, but you can't own me, and I don't want to own you. Let us work together. Let us build together. And that's what this is about. You dig? So even if 90% of the people is already gone, the 10% of us that know it, that get it, and are ready to stand up, why aren't we standing up? Why aren't we coming together? Because guess what? We are the ones that's going to change things. We are the ones that's going to make the transformation. We are. Not the ones that's gone. Not the ones that's in their lower selves. No, they're going to continue being destructive. And like I said before, how many videos I've done and say, listen, let's come together. Let's start calling BT. Let's start calling these radio stations. Let's start sending letters. Let's take action. Let them know, listen, man, this is no longer tolerated. That type of music, that type of frequency, we don't appreciate that. And we're going to start. You don't see what Caucasian people do? They write letters. And all of a sudden you see things happening and you wonder how come, but we hit the streets. We do all type of stuff. But we are the ones still struggling. Why is that? Because we have no unity. We have no community. Community, the ability to commune within a unit. We don't have that. We have neighborhoods. So we're fighting for street corners when we have an entire continent. But go ahead. Focus on the drones. Focus on Diddy. Focus on Jay-Z. Focus on everything else except what's important, what's within your own head, your own sovereignty. Don't focus on that at all. Stay distracted. And many of you will hear my words and it's going to go in one ear and go out the next. Maybe you're just not ready to receive the message. And I'm not mad at you. But I'm going to continue to speak. I'm going to continue to love my people. Okay? And that's what I'm going to continue to do. Like I said earlier, while I was in my state of meditation, you know, growing into self is a process, and I'm always asking, the universe, the ancestors, the higher self, forgive me, forgive myself. I'm forgiving myself for things I may have done, whether it was knowingly or unknowingly, whatever it was, and whatever contracts that I signed, knowingly or unknowingly, I release them if I cannot meet the obligation. You feel me? And my way of whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? I'm here to build my people and love my people. So that's my way of paying my price for whatever it was that I'm not aware of. Because we could change our reality by the things that we do, not by the things we have done. That's the past. It's okay. You see, what you've done in the past doesn't define who you are today unless you allow it to be your definition. You may not have been the greatest person a few years ago or even yesterday. You may not have been the most righteous person 2 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or even yesterday. But what's important is what you do now, the steps you are willing to take now, the decisions that you are willing to make right now in order to be that different person tomorrow. You have to make the change now because everything we do now determines our tomorrow. And what we become tomorrow becomes our past because there's always going to be a tomorrow. So don't beat yourself up. Don't be hard on yourself. If you have some type of demons, it's okay. All right, it's okay. It's part of the experience. But you could let it go. And that's why we should be coming together to have groups and where we could people we could talk to each other, help heal each other, console each other. It's okay, brother. It's okay, sister. We're here for you. Okay, we know you got 3 children. We got 4 children. The brother's in jail. All right, we're going to come together. We're going to do what we got to do, try to get him out. All right. Let's start writing letters. Let's start stepping up on these arenas and making sure that we do FOIAs, Freedom of Information Act, Oprah. All right. And see exactly what happened in the case. And we're going to demand that this person came out because such and such and such and such. If Biden's son could be pardoned. But you see, we're not taking any type of responsibility. We're not doing that. Everything is always something they want to go viral, except for what needs to go viral. If it's not a dance video, it's something. I know we are entertainers by nature. I know that. But we cannot allow entertainment to consume us while we are in chaos. We have the platform. Social media is there. Use it to uplift the people. And if you're not doing that, then there's something in you that has control over you, over your higher self, because you're not being a steward of the people. You are not your brother's keeper. You are not your sister's keeper. You are not doing what you're supposed to. We don't have to struggle. We don't. Honestly, we don't. We struggle because we choose to struggle. We choose to struggle. I mean, and guess what the funny thing is? With my books, right? I could see a demographic of people who buy my books. And surprisingly enough, I literally, if it's not half and half or more Caucasian people buying my books than my own people, like that hurts. When I put so much effort and time into this to give you the information, to teach you, and knowing that, whatever happens with these books or the clothing, I'm going to take it and pour it right back into you. But it's people that don't look like me that's supporting the book. hey, chief, man, listen, you know what? I'm not black, chief. And they apologize for saying that, well, you know what I mean. And I don't even take it personal, but I appreciate the truth, man. You're speaking the truth from Caucasian people. Hmm? But it seems like I have to be on here begging my people to get books that I wrote for you to give you the information. And I'm going to use that to use the funds that coming from that to put back into you. So it's the journey, man. It's real. It's real. And that's how you know when you are chosen for certain things, because regardless of what happens, you're still staying the course. Regardless of how your people treat you, you're still staying the course. That's how you know when you know what you know. You feel me? But I know that I've always been ahead of my time and I'll continue to be ahead of my time. But I really appreciate love those of you that have linked with me and we're working together to put things in place for our people. And I'm not saying we're the only ones that could do it or that's doing it. I'm not saying that. But I just think that there's more of us that come together and say, hey, you know what? Let us do this. Let us do that. Let's come together. You may have your own nation. You may have your own thing. That's cool. But we could come together if we have the same destiny and say, hey, you know what? Let's treaty with each other. You feel me? Like like I tell people, I know what to do. I just can't do it alone, man. I can't do it alone. But all I know is this. I may not be aware of everything, but I'm aware of one thing. We don't have to be in the position that we are in. We don't have to beg anybody for anything. We don't have to allow anybody to control our children, our lives, every facet of our lives. We don't have to do that. That's a conscious choice, decision that we made because we are putting too much trust in worldly men and worldly women that's controlling our destiny, controlling the moment you rise from the moment you set. You feel me? That's a problem. That is a problem. You dig? And I suggest we step up and we stand up and we let our voices be heard. That's our greatest tool, is our voice. It is not a gun. It is not a knife. It's our voice, because why? In the beginning was the word. Period. And it's because of the word everything came into manifestation. Let there be, and there was. So when we say that we are sovereigns of this land and we stand up and we make that claim, that declaration, this is who we are, and we are bringing back the law. Trust me, everything and anybody else they got to get out the way. They got to step out the way because the American gods are coming through. Period, point blank. And for those of you who can't feel that, I don't know what's wrong with y'all, man. Because we could change our reality literally by next week if we choose to. It's really that simple. But yet still, like Lauryn Hill said, we rather make it hard. One thing I want to leave y'all with this. You got a brother that's always going to stand with you and for you. All right. And I'm always going to walk the righteous path. Always. That's in my DNA. It's part of my makeup. I'm from that cloth of righteousness, and nothing could change that. Nobody could ever take that away from me. And anybody who says otherwise or try to put propaganda and let people believe otherwise, they are heading for self-destruction, because my ancestors ain't playing. If you take a look at all those that came up against me, spreading rumors, see where they at right now. Where they at? Nowhere to be found, because I make sure the ancestors dealt with them. Trust me, I know how to do that. I know how to do that. All right. So enjoy the rest of your continuation. My mom, she just called me. I'm about to go play some cards with her. I love my mother. Regardless of they have their beliefs. In fact, I love my entire family, my relatives, my blood relatives. I love them. And I'm not gonna say I feel sorry for them, but I have compassion for them. So I'm gonna play some cards with her. You know what I mean? And I enjoy spending that time with her. You know what I mean? But my brothers and sisters, we got work to do. And I just wish that we would, learn to put a lot of our differences, at least our major differences, aside. And hit me up, man. I'm always reaching out. You know what I mean? Hey, Chief, I hear you, Chief. I feel you. What can we do? You know what I mean? And it's not going to take a lot of us. All right? It's not going to take a lot of us. Everything starts as one. Everything starts as the dot. All right? I always tell people there's no such thing as a straight line. People always ask, well, Chief, what are you talking about? There's no such thing as a straight line. A straight line is an illusion, right? Because even the straight line starts as a dot, because you have to put the pen or the pencil down first to create a dot and then move across the straight line. So there's no such thing as a straight line, right? Even the dot is the illusion, because you have to put something down to create the dot. And anytime something is created, it's just supposed to be part of the experience. It is really that simple. Because the real was not created. You were never created. Your flesh was created, but not you. The real you was never created. Therefore, the real you cannot die. The real you cannot be destroyed. Period. Point blank. You feel me? You are it. I am it. We are it. All right? And it's really that simple. Nobody's coming to save us, my brothers and sisters. Nobody. We have to step up and do exactly what was done in the beginning. Speak the word, and the word shall manifest. Let our voices be heard. All right? We'll talk soon, though. I appreciate love, y'all. Okay, let me just give a little shout out. I'm actually on my phone doing this, so Mr. Green, Mr. G1, all right, what it is, Red Rising, Chief Blackbird, Supreme Health, Chief Nestia. Who else do we have? Golden Empress, Everlasting Water, Sean. What's going on? Who else do we have? I'm seeing here. Andre Matthews, my brother. Dane, Tennessee. Peace and love, brother. All right. So man, and those of you who are actually gonna catch this live a little later, catch the recording. You know what? I'm sending much love and positive energy, man. I love y'all for real, man. I love y'all for real. And like I said, you know, brother, my brother Sar, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And like I said, my brothers and sisters, I gotta tell y'all this. A lot of times, a lot of us get impatient. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna say it, and I've said it before. People come within our circle and expect things to happen overnight. But it's not gonna happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. When Rome was built, and they give you the illusion that Rome fell, but Rome never fell, because you're actually living in Rome right now. But the point I'm making is, the race is not for the swift, but it's for those who could endure. And a lot of people can't endure because they're looking to be swift. They're looking for the swift transition. No, it's for the endurance, the stamina. All right. And I guarantee you, if enough of us come together, enough of us step up, enough of us make that move, all right, we will find some type of loophole to make sure our voices be heard. I promise you that. The universe will provide a way. I promise you that. I guarantee you that. Because it has never failed. Because those who truly seek will truly find. Now, you heard what I said, right? I didn't just say those who seek will find. Because obviously, if you seek, you're going to find something. But if you seek in truth, you will find truth. If you seek in falsehood, you will find false information, but you're going to find something. So we have to be specific, because the universe is specific. You feel me? You did. All right. So if and when we come together, it doesn't matter how small the core is, the group is. If each one bring one, all right, and we come together, and before you know it, you see, you could build a house one brick at a time. It doesn't matter how long it takes to build that house, but you could build a house that will turn into a home one brick at a time. Just put up a brick a day and make sure the foundation is solid. I guarantee you, you will have a home. But too many people come and they see the foundation And they realize that it's being built brick by brick. And sometimes you may have to take a day off because you cannot afford to put up a brick that day. So they start losing hope. They start losing division in the mission. And, oh, well, it's not working. Well, what you mean it's not working? See how long it took the United States to become a nation. It took over what? How many? 200 something years? You expect all the way indoctrinated people to just get up and be ready? No, it's not going to happen like that. But for those of us who are actually ready and know, we have to start digging and digging and building and laying the bricks one by one. And then when the others see what's going on, you feel me? When they see what's going on, they will realize something, there's a shift, something different is happening. And then they will come along. You see, a lot of people are just waiting to see something substantial, something solid, because they have been through so much, and I get it. I'm not mad at people who are reluctant. I'm not mad at people who are skeptical. I'm not mad at that, because we have been burnt. Trust me, I've been through it myself, but I'm not giving up. You did. But this is ours. It's our birthright. It's our inheritance. Let's claim it. It was taken from us. And then they flip the script and give you some type of, making you think that Esau is the pale man. Esau doesn't mean pale. Esau means red man. Who are the red Indians? We are. Making you think that Jacob is you and you're the Israelite. Y'all don't get none of that. You see, y'all confused because they tricked you, reverse psychology. But yet still your birthright was stolen. Your inheritance was stolen. And you're actually living the life of Esau, but you think you're Jacob, the liar. Huh? You see, reverse psychology, man. It wasn't real. It's an allegory. While Jacob is the one living your dream, pretending to be us. And they're making you think Esau is the pale man, but yet still Esau meant red. Man, listen, I gotta laugh because this is just crazy. It's crazy. But anyway, that's a whole different video. I broke that down in the book, so I don't even want to get into that right now. But anyway, I did say I wasn't going to be on here that long, but at least I didn't promise. I don't think I did. So almost 2 hours, you know what I mean? But oh boy, you just sometimes, Chief, you just got to breathe, and just love your people. Regardless, I love y'all, whether it's the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, because I get it. I get it. I trust me, I get it. Because I know this was part of the plan. This was part of the experience. And some of us just had to fall so hard, we wouldn't even know the difference between up and down. We wouldn't know the difference between hell and heaven if we actually saw it in reality. That's how lost some people are. And I got to truly tell you this. All right. It's not even about us right now being the original people. It's about the righteous and the unrighteous. Okay. But I will say this. Since we are the original people of the land, we are the ones that got to set the laws. Okay. We are the ones that got to set the laws. But we have to deal with the righteous. That's what we got to deal with. The righteous is the righteous versus the unrighteous. And you will see people that look just like us try to tear us down, shoot at us, even try to take us out. That's the unrighteous. So never get it confused with the whole color thing and the whole skin thing. And even that is a phase and it's going to die out. And when people truly step into the know, they'll realize it's about righteous and unrighteous, good versus evil. It was never meant to be about skin complexion or even ethnicity. Now, we were the first stewards of the earth. We were the first landlords of the earth, and we had a responsibility. Okay? And we fell. We went against the grain. We went against that covenant. But it was supposed to be that way. That's why we were the first, and we had to become the last. And now that that cycle is complete, then we are actually on the reverse arc of ascending back into being the first. It's all broken down in the book, Genesis to Reevaluation. So you could go to the website, www.myniji.com, and on the very top, you'll see that I'm literally giving a 50% discount until December 31st, because I just think it's so imperative that people get this book and read. Take your time and read it. And in the book, there's place for your notes. So I just want to, if I could give away the book for free, I would, but it cost me so much to print a 300 and something page book. It's no joke. So I'm literally 50% off, like not even making money on the book. I just want to make sure everybody get it, because it's not about the money for me. It's about making sure you have the information, evoke something in you. That's what this is about. So when you talk to people, you could speak with confidence. You could go to your family and say, hey, listen, man, get this book. The brother knows what he's talking about. I've written 11 books. All of them have a powerful message in them. All right. Anyway, respect my brother, Chief Blackbird White Tip, man. I appreciate love you as well, brother. All right. Brother D Walker and Start Christ. All right. Big up yourself. Respect every time. All right. So I'm about to get out of here. Like I said, my mom is waiting, and I'm about to go play a little bit of cards with my mom, and we'll talk a little later. You guys could always get in contact with me. If the email is not in the link below, go to the website. You could take the contact form. I'll still get the email. You know what I'm saying? But it's time for those of us that really want to see a change, for those of us that really want to come together and step up on the national stage, on the platform, let our voices be heard. I'm always willing and ready to walk with you. Always willing and ready. All right. I'm just waiting for the call. And that's it. All right. So we'll talk soon. Enjoy the rest of your sun rest. One love.